Have you ever thought about picking and choosing different coloured rangers from different ranger teams to create the ultimate, most powerful, most efficient team possible? Well, I certainly have. But doing this fantasy ranger draft is an extremely difficult task, and one that I could never make my mind up on. So I decided to leave it in the hands of you guys. A month or so ago, I started releasing polls asking you guys to vote for your favourite ranger of each colour. We decided to go for a team of 6 and include a red ranger, a blue, a pink, a black, a yellow, and a 6th ranger. Now, due to the nature of YouTube polls, I am only able to give 4 options for people to vote for, so I thought it would be fairest to put the first 4 of each colour, then an option to comment down below for any other ranger you might want. After a few hours of voting on each colour, it became very apparent that we were just going to end up with the original Mighty Morphin team. So I've had to take matters into my own hands a little on some of these choices to make it a bit fairer. After either picking the second highest, or on occasion going for the ranger that received the most comments. Now remember, this team was voted for by Power Ranger fans, so if you disagree, don't get mad at me in the comments. I will reveal the picks for each colour individually, given a reason why they have taken the top spot. So let's get into it. Let's start with the Yellow Ranger. The poll revealed that the number 1 pick was of course Trini Kwan, but again we don't want to have just the Mighty Morphin team. So when excluding Trini and diving into the comments, it was overwhelmingly obvious who you guys all thought deserved this spot on the team. Your Yellow Ranger is Taylor Earhart. And I have to say, I agree with this one. Taylor was a ranger for over a year before the Wild Force season even started. She was the leader of the team before the arrival of Cole, and while having more than one leader in the team can often be conflicting, she has proven that she is a team player and can follow orders while still giving her all and bringing invaluable skill to the Power Rangers. Not only that, but her military experience also gives her an edge on her combat knowledge, something that not many other rangers can bring to the table. Next up, we have our Black Ranger. Again, this was a toss-up between our 2 Mighty Morphin Rangers, but surprisingly, Adam came out on top, and seeing as Adam also featured in other Ranger teams outside of Mighty Morphin, I was very tempted to let him have this spot, especially as I am a huge Adam fan. However, after reading all of the comments, it was pretty unanimous that you guys wanted a different Black Ranger, and some great points were made. So your Black Ranger is Dylan from RPM. Now, of course, Dylan has internal Venjix hardware that has given him boosted physical capabilities, basically making him superhuman, making him a very useful offensive player for the Ranger team. However, he also has the ability to use an invincibility shield that can protect him from any attack for around 5 seconds, also giving him a huge defensive advantage. Dylan is an all-round great Ranger to have on any team. Now on to the Blue Ranger. This is one that I actually thought would be a little closer. Of course, Billy came out on top of this poll once again, but being over 50% ahead of the next closest TJ was a bit of a surprise to me. I personally think that TJ is amongst the best Blue Rangers ever. Going from the Turbo Red Ranger team leader to the Blue in Space Ranger, he had some really great moments. However, again, delving into the comments told a very different story, one that I found it very hard to argue against. Your Blue Ranger is Sky Tate from SPD. At first, I was hesitant to include Sky, as we all know that he starts off as a very reluctant team player, being extremely unhappy at not being the team leader, which is why I was unsure about making him the Blue Ranger. But throughout his season, he has great character development and really develops into a good Ranger, a confident, experienced team player. And let's not forget that he ends up as the Red Ranger, and eventually goes on to replace Kruger as the commander of SPD's Earth base. If that doesn't tell you how valuable he can be, I don't know what would. Next we have the Pink Ranger. Now, the result of the actual poll is pretty misleading, because as I stated at the start, the poll only gives the first 4 Rangers as an option, and there is a Pink Ranger from a slightly later season that was not included in these options. And you guys made it very clear who this one should be, and to be honest, it wasn't even close, as this was probably the most clear winner for the entire team. Your Pink Ranger is Jen Scotts from Time Force. First of all, having a Time Force Ranger on the team seems like a sensible decision, as some of their technology would be invaluable to this Ultimate Ranger team. And picking Jen is the obvious choice. Not only is she highly skilled in multiple areas and a natural leader that has the ability to follow orders and be a team player, but she can also be absolutely ruthless when necessary, and has the ability to make the extremely difficult decisions that other Rangers might be afraid of making. She would be an asset on any Ranger team. Now the one that you've all been waiting for, the Red Ranger. Seeing as there has been so many great and memorable Red Rangers, you would think this would potentially be a close one. But was it ever really going to be that close? With over double the votes of the next best, the winner was Jason. And who am I to argue with that? So your Red Ranger in this team is Jason Lee Scott from Mighty Morphin. Jason was highly respected during his time as the leader of the Power Rangers, and is shown to have some of the best martial arts skills of the Rangers. He's also the only one to ever best Tommy Oliver in single combat when Tommy was the much more powerful Green Ranger, although the two did tie in a martial arts tournament just before Tommy becomes evil. I think besides his commanding presence as a leader and the natural respect that other Rangers have for him, it's very important to have a Ranger with real martial arts knowledge outside of their Ranger abilities, and in my opinion, Jason is amongst the best martial artists that any Ranger team has ever seen. Finally, we have gotten to the one that I have obviously been most excited for, the one that I named my channel after, the 6th Ranger. Both the votes and the comments made it very clear who you wanted, and I don't think there was ever really any doubt. Your 6th Ranger is Tommy Oliver. The question is, which form? Now, Tommy has been 5 different Rangers. However, only 2 of them have been considered 6th Rangers. So that narrows down the choice to either Tommy as the Green Ranger or as the White Ranger. Every part of me wants to pick the Green Ranger. However, if we are being fair, the Green Ranger's powers were at their peak when they were evil, and had the Sword of Darkness. After that, the powers continued to drain and got weaker over time. That is not the case with the White Ranger, made to specifically be more powerful than the Green Ranger powers. The White Ranger has to be the choice here. Now, to justify this pick isn't hard. Tommy is the most experienced Power Ranger of all time, being extremely brave and selfless. We know that when his powers were draining, he would still risk everything and go into battle to help his friends. He has been both a great leader and a strong follower, putting the needs of others ahead of his own. And as the White Ranger, he also has Saba, which you could argue is like having a free 7th member on the team. So your 6th Ranger is Tommy Oliver as the White Ranger. Before we finish, one question remains. Who will lead this team? With so many great leaders coming together, this is a tough pick. Now, this could be controversial, but I'm going to give it to Jason. For all the reasons stated earlier, and while we know that he eventually gave up his leadership role for Tommy, it is hinted that Tommy still looks up to Jason as a great leader, when he asked Jason for leadership advice after Jason becomes the Gold Ranger, even though Jason is assumed to be second in command at this point. I think that is enough evidence that even Tommy would follow Jason's lead. Okay my friends, that is it, the ultimate Power Ranger team picked by the 6th Ranger community. Hopefully the majority of you agree with this list, but if not, be sure to leave your ultimate team in the comments down below. Please, no arguing about it. Thank you all so much for watching, may the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.